Hey, what's good? Or welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel. Another day, another vehicle, 2016 Chevy Tahoe LTZ, 5.3 liter. All right, so we have the cooling fans running, and after looking up on different channels, basically we changed the coolant temperature sensor. The fans are still coming on. Okay, so fans are still coming on. The temperature gauge is reading like it's not even oscillating or anything, or even moving at all. So we're getting ready to change the thermostat as well. It's right next to the temperature sensor. So the code that we were getting was P0128. Removed that code after changing the temperature sensor, but we have no code at this time, but we still have the same effect. So we're working on this guy now, so let's go ahead and proceed. You can or cannot, you don't have to remove your battery, negative or positive. You can or you don't have to. It's not like a big thing. It is power getting to this as far as the actual vehicle, but it's not started, so you should be good. All right, so you're gonna need a look like an 8mm or a flathead, so we can take off this air intake breather. So we're gonna loosen this up quite a bit, just cause sometimes you'll loosen it up and think you're good, but yeah, then you end up having to do it again. So we're gonna loosen up over here as well by the breather box. All right, so over here you got these guys. You're gonna have to squeeze up a little bit like that and pop it out. It's a little stiff, so just kind of squeeze up and work it, or you might have to go back in and try it again. It should come out. This one's on there pretty good. There we go. All right, other side, same thing. I think this side goes down, springs down on this side. Yep, and it pops out just like that. Okay, and let's remove this guy over here. Should be able to slide it out now like that, and we should be able to wiggle this all up and out. There we go. All right, so now we got our breather out. Let's sit that over there some out the way, and you definitely want to make sure it's safe. So looks like we have 310mm for the thermostat. This is your thermostat, and let's make sure and verify. Always verify your sockets. All right, so 310mm, and we're gonna need some pliers. I'll just grab a couple different ones just in case. And what else we need? I'm gonna go a long extension. Yeah, so the fans are still running after changing that. There are no codes now, but we drove it for another 3 days after changing this temperature sensor here. No leaks or anything, everything's good. But it's calling for the thermostat, which will be the next thing everybody is calling for. And I agree, because it's right next to the coolant temperature sensor, and it regulates the heat and keeps the vehicle cool enough to do its job. So got our new thermostat. This is the parts number, door last. Picked this up at AutoZone. I think it was like $55.99, but I'm just gonna leave that there for a hot second. All right, so that's the parts number. Might need to pause your screen, see it, write it down. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start removing this guy. Let's put our new part in a safe place. You're gonna lose a little bit of fluid, and doing so, you're gonna need to pick you up a jug of 50/50. And this is what it's calling for. So this is specific, what they told me to get. You got your vehicles over here, right? So it's deck's cool. Okay. All right. So let's start losing fluid. Not that we want to, but it's coming out. So we got everything safe. And let's get to it. If you're looking at these gloves, I've had these probably for the last, let's say, last 4 or 5 days on different jobs. They're real good, so I'll flip them in and out, squeeze these up and give some wiggles. Sometimes it's a little rough, but yeah, I use these things back and forth, back and forth. Eric, the car guy, recommended these gloves made by Diamond Grip, and they really last. I quit buying the Harbor Freight kind, and I just order these now off of eBay. They're a lot cheaper than ordering them buying them at the store. You might be able to pick you up a box of 100 probably for about 25 bucks or less on eBay versus paying 35 or something more on going to your local parts store. So let's go ahead and get this one off as well. But yep, I can flip them in and out and wear them again. So I'm gonna beat these up as long as I can and just kind of work it. There we go. Got that up and out the way. And hopefully it's loose enough. If not, just kind of spin it back and forth a little bit and pull. There we go. You might lose a little bit. And you might lose a lot. Make sure you got a catch pan. All right. And do I got mine set? Yeah, there we go. Don't have a catch pan today, but I got something down there to catch everything. All right, so we're still losing fluid. Okay, let's go ahead and break this guy free. But yeah, it's calling for P0128. So, yeah. Very tight, lefty loosey, break it free. All right, just make sure they all break free. And this is plastic, so when you're putting it back in, be careful not to over tighten it and crack it. All right, let's see if we can get this off now. And if you can't, let's try to do the same with that one. And this is when the pliers really come in handy. All right, so we're gonna lose some fluid, of course, and see if I can keep this hose up some kind of way, or a bungee or something. Let's see what we can do with that. But we're gonna lose quite a bit of fluid. So let's make something happen. Let's hold this over here. And that should do it. All right. Now we got that out of the way. Let's go ahead and get these three out. I usually take my two fingers like that. You might need a magnet to grab these. Alright, starting to get a little more fluid. So let me get another catch pan. Had a big job yesterday, so let me find it real quick. Alright, that's one thing about cooling when you're working with it, you never know where it's gonna go, so end up missing some of the pan. Clean some of this up. Don't want any on your electronic components. And we'll hit this with brake parts cleaner after we wipe it down when we're done, just to clear up all that stuff. Alright, let's get this on out of here. Alright, it makes it a lot easier sometimes. Alright, so we got everything ready to pull it out. And remember where your thermostat is and how it sits. So it doesn't have a rubber grommet or anything on it. It's already attached. The rubber gasket's already on there. So you're just gonna trade. And your gasket might stay like this. And let me see if I can move this out the way without spilling too much. And that's one thing about antifreeze, it's very, very messy. All right. So let's get this old gasket off. And we're gonna move our new guy safe spot for a minute. And after that, let's start getting some of this down a little bit. Let's see. just so it's a little lower than the actual hole, and it's going to keep filling up, but you're going to try to purge it down. It's going to fill itself back up, but hopefully it's not as high. And we're going to clean this all up around here real good. Let's get some brake parts cleaner. Just wipe around the edge. You don't want to spray any in your coolant, but just around the edge. And you want it to be pretty dry, and you definitely don't want no grease or anything on it. You want it to seal real good. So let me get another one of these. It's clean. Let's proceed on doing that again, just to make sure we're good before we slap the new one in. And our coolant is low enough, which is great. You may not have to clean it up a lot, but you want to make sure that old gasket doesn't have any debris on here. And we're looking good. So let's go ahead and sit the new one in now. And there we go. Line up our holes. And let's start putting them back in. Yeah, you're gonna definitely need some down. And let's start with the far one. And be careful going back in, so you don't drop it. And we're just gonna get some threads to start it. There we go. This guy over here. And just kind of hold it in this place while your hand tightening it. I'm gonna use my speed ratchet to get this in there first. And I'm not gonna tighten it all the way up, I'm just gonna get it close. Yep, just close enough. And then we'll hand tighten it down. Move around. Get in there. All right, switch over to my stubby, just because you don't want a lot of torque on it, or you can use your regular ratchet. But in my case, I have a stubby. And just kind of work your way around to get it to seat. This one is going. You'll feel it start to get tight, and then just kind of make sure it's tight in a quarter turn. Okay, make sure they're all tight first, as much as they can go, and just keep working your way around, because you don't want one tighter than the other one before you tighten them all. And just kind of work around. That one is there. That one's there. But yeah, the stubby, you got better control, so you don't have a long bar and over torque. And if you do have a long ratchet, just kind of work it from the head up here. Just a tip, might help, might not. And this one's a little looser than the other ones. Okay, so we're there. Tighten it a little bit and just barely. There we go. And then just check around, make sure they're all good. All right, so we're tight on that. Let's clean up around there a little bit. I have to find my shop towels. Somebody moved them. find those. Using paper towel. And I don't recommend using paper towels in certain areas because they're very brittle. Okay, so that being said on the brittleness, wipe this up as much as we can. And let's hit it with some brake parts cleaner. You don't want that on your belt. Yep, and let that dry and evaporate. All right, that should be enough of that. All right, let's start getting these hoses back on. All right, where is you? Right here. All right, well, let's get this one off first. Just because of where it's sitting lower. And I gotta come above that one. So, sit this one on here. First, let's get it to tie in. And you want to have it to where you can access it next time if you have to change this. So you probably want it at the top up here. Let's go down one more notch. Just kind of work it back and forth. There, and just kind of be careful they're not making parts like they used to, and you want to try to get it back in the same groove that it was originally in on your hose, close as possible. All right, it's on there. You make sure it's over the lip, and make sure it's over it all the way around. And if it feels suspect a little bit, just kind of check the back side. You may have tilted it a little bit. And make sure he's up good. Alright, so now let's scan around and check the neck. Make sure so we don't get any leaks. And we're looking good. Our nipple is covered. And I don't like this side a little bit. Let me mess with it a little more. Just right over in here. Move this down some. And I think we're good now. Yeah. Just make sure it's past that lip. Alright, so we're good. Go ahead and start putting everything else back. Kind of work it, work it, work it. Alright. Alright, everybody's back in their grooves. Alright, so now we can put our intake back on, and then we can start filling up this guy over here, start the vehicle and let it run. And hopefully this is the fix of this, but this is how you replace it. And definitely going to have to bleed your coolant system, which is basically leaving your reservoir open, checking your temperature gauge, making sure it sits in the middle, and hopefully this fixes our issue with our fans blowing and continuously running. So we got two new parts, thermostat and a temp sensor. So this is how you change the thermostat as well. I have a video on changing the temp sensor as well. So hit the thumbs up if this video helps you, and always remember, rust is the enemy on these things. And until next video, I'm out.